Japan is done with woke localizers ruining anime and manga. Finally, let's get it.
Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So right now it is a very rough day to be an anime and manga localizer, which means
Shit.
it's a
Oh,
great
oh my
day
god.
for
Alright, I'll just
anime
take.
and manga fans because their vandalization of Japanese source material appears to be coming to an end. There has been a swift blow to these woke localizers who have
Jesus.
been vandalizing Japanese media for years and years, inserting their own cringe humor, agenda, what have you, into everything they've been trusted to properly translate. Here's
Well, hold on. Like, this is why I prefer reading with fan translations. Because you know why? They would stick to the actual the actual translation without having to add anything, and in return, like, they will ask for like a donation to keep the operations running. I prefer supporting fan translations in manga than actually waiting for the official like English translations, because most of the times English translations for mangas are actually just, like, you never know that they actually have like these type of people who actually translate the manga or the chapter of the manga. And at the same time, who would you guess, it's one of those woke localizers. Yes. So support your fan translations because they actually deserves it.
the main headline. Japan is investing 11.5 billion yen, around $71 million, into AI to speed up anime and manga translations. The plan will help companies like Crunchyroll, Shueisha, Bandai Namco, Kodansha, and Square Enix to use AI tools to release official translations much faster for global fans. They want to shorten the wait between Japanese release and official English version, reducing reliance on pirate sites and fan translations. Now, of course, there is the one goal of cutting down on piracy. They want to get ahead of people pirating this and making it more available and more quickly available to Western audiences. But the secondary effect of this is a very vindicating one. It will cut down on the number of localizers involved with translating anime, manga, or any material coming out of Japan. And that is something that a lot of people are celebrating. Nobody in their right mind is sitting here going, yes, AI translations of anime and manga, that is the best version we can possibly get. No.
To be honest, I'm kind of split with having AI to translate anime and manga, because for one thing, it would make the shipping out to international would be much more faster and more direct. It's because like it came from the actual studio itself. But the other half is that the fan translations would go out of business because they pretty much out of the job because AI took over the fan translation or the translations of the said anime or manga. So yeah, it's kind of a split for me whether I'm happy or worried.
best version is a reliable translator, a reliable human translator. Unfortunately, these woke localizers have abused their position of trust and continuously made bad translations and lost any goodwill with consumers that they're supposed to be providing translations for. And it is absolutely no secret that this has been not just something that's happening, it's something that is intentionally happening.
Oh
Here is a
Lord.
wall of text. Many examples of localizers openly professing that they're vandalizing Japanese source material and doing so very smugly. In the top here, you can see them trying over and over again to deny that there's any agenda involved, but the reality looks very different, where they say, I will own that stuff, referring to labels of being woke and spreading their agenda, saying
Jesus
SJW
Christ.
feminist gamer all the way. Well, you know, Japan is super
What the
racist,
fuck?
sexist, homophobic, fatphobic, and pretty much everything else. And then you can see people proudly translating various phrases into incels and being very proud. And the best one is down here saying the true joy of localization really is seeing what you can get away with. And they've been getting away with a lot for many years. It begins.
Oh my god, like this is why I this is why I prefer, I'm not shaming for those who actually watch with English dubs, but if you like something like most of the times, or I don't know, like it's pretty much like based on my experience, like I don't preferably watch anime on with English dubs, because most of the times they would mistranslate something, or it could like miss important information because of the translation, or is it because like the English voice actor didn't set the actual line itself. Yeah, that's why subs subs are good for me. Like subs are superior. Yes.
With these cringe inserts of jokes and Reddit tier humor that age very poorly. A great example is Nagatoro adding in sus, which of course back a few years ago was super relevant at the time of this release, but now, fast forward a few years later, this is completely outdated. Nobody uses this language anymore, so if they did a regular translation, it would have made sense here in 2026, but now it just looks really dated and stupid. But of course, we cannot ignore one of the most ridiculous examples, and showing this alone makes the most annoying people seethe in anger. They hate seeing this because it's so diabolical, and it really proves how corrupt these localizers are. This
is look at this. All right, like what's with the outfit? Everyone's always saying something to me, so I tried toning down exposure. How is it? So this is the subs, right? But when it comes to the dub, like I know what's happening with Funimation dubs, but holy shit, are you for real right now? Like pesky patriarchal societal demands are getting on my nerves. Wow. Yeah, that's what I really want from my anime. Sure, yeah. It's very moving. I'm very touched. Fuck, you know.
From the Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Funimation dub here, where they basically rework an entire scene just talking about outfits, and then change it into commentary about patriarchal societal demands. Stunning and brave. But of course, there's plenty of recent examples from 2025, where Netflix localizers rewrote Blue Box to completely change the entire context of a scene, where a character was being complimented for being feminine, and they rewrote it to compliment her for being a feminist. It doesn't even make sense based on the context. But this sort of agenda continues. Here's another example where the original pure translation says a man who dwells on the past is not popular with the ladies. The localization says mansplainers aren't popular with the ladies, you know.
The fuck?
Here's another similar example where you can see the original version, the pure translation says, did I just start explaining fashion to a literal pro model? The localization says, did I just start mansplaining fashion to a literal pro model? Here's another.
Oh my god. This is why you don't get good, nice things. This is why we get I fucking hate this shit, man. Why? Can we just not?
For example, a dub multiple times bringing up fragile masculinity for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Then another example, translating a term just referring to virgins to incels to add a little bit of current day humor and terminology into a localization. Here's one that really brought a lot of controversies from the Uma Musume anime, where they changed Merry Christmas to Happy Holidays, seemingly seething about Christmas, even though the banners in the background of the scene literally said in English Merry Christmas. They still changed it in the subtitles. And then you have examples like this. Even Skin is a little too problematic sometimes, where A description of a character's appearance as white and pretty is localized into skin being totally flawless. And here's another example. Careful with the skin. If you show too much, Bandai Namco's localization team will make sure they censor it. It goes way beyond just anime and manga. It goes into video games as well. And we've seen characters, their identities completely rewritten. An example coming from I Think I Turned My Childhood Friend Into a Girl, which is about cross-dressing. But instead, the localization team completely
Oh my god, like this... Why? Alright, I'm just gonna shoot my shots here. I don't really fucking care anymore if anyone gets hit by this, but there's like cross-dressing is not correlates to being transgender. What I mean by this, it's just pretty much like wearing the wearing outfits without having to like mentioning your gender. Like if you're a man wearing a dress, that's cross-dressing. If you are like, if you have like feminine traits, even though like you're the opposite, yeah, like brother, like I really hate these localizers, man. They ruin everything. They have different shits, man. Like they have different meanings than here comes like the Western localizers, like just merge them into one. Fuck.
wrote this character to be trans for what I can only assume is for their own political agenda in pushing gender ideology and any sort of identity politics into what they're being trusted to translate. Here's another recent example from April with Union Syndrome, where not only did they insert a bunch of random Reddit chungus humor and trans stuff into this game, the localization team also took a term meaning stop and translated it to end fascism. Amazing. I mean, they literally not only had to mistranslate such a simple phrase, but they had to rework the entire context to set it up for this mistranslation. In the back, you can see some screenshots from the related Discord of some of these localizers, and it's an absolute cult.
Man, like, these people are fucking cancers, man. They are a fucking tumor that needs to be removed. For throughout the years, this is getting out of hand. Like, we need to do something. Like, this is way too much.
Coal mine, but that is not anything new, right? You can see with Nokutan, they completely tried to lean into some narrative going on Twitter with the usual suspects who are trying to claim she is trans because she has antlers, which is, you know, crazy. It's an anime about deer girls. Of course, they're going to have features that resemble that, but to the wackadoos on social media, this was confirmation that this character, among others, were actually trans. And in response to backlash of that seeping into the translations, one infamous localizer responded by saying, we need to educate Japanese companies on what good localization looks like. Yeah, this comes from
I'm freaking done with this, man. This has gotta be like the worst thing, especially like for example, like if you like work for an anime studio and then you pretty much like learn or like to understand what the vision of the manga author and also like the director and also the animators as well, that like they put their like heart and soul of like creating the character and then creating the story. Even like the writers put their heart and soul into it because it's pretty much like for profit and for passion as well. But after then, like when they like try to like ship it in like overseas for like localization and whatnot, these parasites would go out of their way and just be a fucking cancer. It's because like there's always gonna be agenda for them. Like it never stops, and overall like ruining the piece of media that we are like really want to watch But then again, these parasites would just insert their ideologies and make it worse. Like this is not the intended. Like this is not the intentions of what the directors, the manga authors, or even like the animators would want on their anime. Is this fools who just like being cancerous. Holy.
Drina, an infamous localizer who has fled Twitter after getting bodied there 24/7. I don't even know if they're on Blue Sky, but they are responsible for countless mistranslations and just
Fucking hell.
abhorrent tweets bragging about their mistranslations. In fact, this is the one who was trying to morally virtue signal about the anime they were localizing, basically implying it's predatory and disgusting, and even described their work as unfortunate. They had the unfortunate pleasure of translating this anime, and in response, it's no surprise, they were mistranslating everything, mainly injecting in their own cringe humor that again has been completely outdated in only a few years. But this is the same person, Katrina here, who likes to lecture about localization and basically that everyone else is stupid because localizers are the professionals.
Not only
Hold on. Like why like why did they still get the like jobs of localization? Why did they still get the works from localizing anime? Can they just like move on to another profession instead of like ruining like anime? Can they not?
that, but when you're subtitling, everybody can hear what they're saying. And you have a lot of people, especially young people like millennials and Gen Z, who got really into Japanese through anime. So they started learning a little bit of Japanese. So they are very loud on social media when they hear something and they're like, wait, that's not what the subtitle said. These people don't know what they're doing. And it's like, no, you guys, like, this is a skilled profession. We know what we're doing. We didn't change it to spite you in your Japanese 101 class. Like, this is actually what they said. You just don't understand the whole the challenges of it. Not only that.
So yeah, they're basically saying if you correct them on any of their mistranslations, you're stupid and you're not educated like these localizers are. Even when the complaints come from fluent Japanese speakers, like it has many, many times, well, I guess you're just...
Like, to be honest, the way that they speak, it's pretty much like, gives me Karen energy. Oh my gosh, like you just don't understand. Like I'm way more knowledgeable. I am way more professional in localizing translations. Like you just don't get it. Oh, you're from Japan? Nah, you just don't get it. Like fucking hell.
Stupid. You're not as educated as the very professional localizers, and I can't think of anything more opposite of professional than localizers. They cannot do their job. Their ideology has consumed them so greatly, they cannot do their jobs without inserting their own agenda. Of course, this is what it really looks like in practice. You have the original Japanese source material and these localizers flying in to vandalize it, thinking they're doing something great, when in reality, nobody wants this. So with this backdrop, and let me make this clear, that is a tiny snapshot. What we just saw over the last couple of minutes is a tiny snapshot of everything going on with localizations, but you can see with that context why people are not sad to see localizers getting replaced, even if it means the AI translations are going to be flawed. At least they're flawed by design. They are not intentionally flawed. They're not intentional.
Yeah, like at the same time, now that I think about it, now that Revs gives me like a lot of information about it, now that I realize that I kind of feel glad that like AI has a place. Yeah, like still like general AI is still like the main issue, but at the same time like AI still has its use, like as a tool, like primarily as a tool, not the entire product. Or I kind of glad that like it's not perfect. Like at least the AI translations doesn't do like indoctrination or adding like agendas. You know what? I kind of prefer that. You know, like having like typos, errors, than actual like, oh my god, mansplaining. Oh my god, look at these incels, or like, you know, like this patriarchal shit. You know what? I'm ready to move on with that instead of like the usual suspects of translators, localizers,
Intentionally
whatnot.
shoving an agenda. They're just mistranslating because they're taking things too literally or what have you. Nobody feels sorry for these localizers. They have done this to themselves. And here's some of the replies saying this. It's going to have the dude effect of removing the woke nonsense the localizers inject. If it means the regard woke pronouns localizers are all put out of a job, I'm 100% behind this decision. GG's to the woke localizers, with a picture of Asmongold, who is one of the many loud voices against these localizers. But then again, what does he know? What do any of us know about this very nuanced profession of localization? I mean, the amount of nuance and subtlety required to do some of these translations is far beyond our uneducated stance and status as just mere peons in the existence of these localizers who are just all-knowing of Japanese culture and translation.
And also I am very excited that once the AI translations, like, not a fan of AI, but the AI translations is pretty much like a good step of like localizing anime to the internationals. I am very excited that these quote unquote localizers would start bitching on Twitter or on Blue Sky about they just got laid out, or I don't know, like lay off. That's the word, like lay off, because they got replaced by AI. Boo fucking who? You know, I prefer like them like spewing salty tears, because the amount of times they would mistranslate a lot of bullshit just to add their agenda. I am very excited the amount of tears flowing down on Twitter because of these quote unquote localizers lost their jobs. Yeah.
But here's a quote saying it ain't speed I'm worried about, it's accuracy and faithfulness to the source material. Well, that concern has always been relevant because the accuracy and faithfulness has been compromised over and over again thanks to these localizers. Again, AI translations are not the pinnacle of potential when it comes to the quality of translations, but these localizers have literally muddied the waters for over a decade now. And it's their fault that nobody trusts them anymore, and it's their fault that nobody feels bad for them being replaced by AI, because at the end of the day, people would rather have AI and its flaws than having these intentional vandalizations of Japanese media caused by these localizers. Here's some coping saying that is worse than not effing getting them, or straight up effing with the translation in the first place. A little independent project using AI translation is fine, I don't mind it there, but this effing revving up the stuff machine to translate everything, F no. Yeah, you know what? Some people would rather have translations available if it's by AI than to have nothing at all. That is why piracy websites have been doing so well, and fan translations as well.
Yes.
Because they are providing for a market that is yearning for something. Okay, people would rather have something if it's produced by AI than nothing because the localizers couldn't get to it next. That is the reality. You don't have to like it, but that's the reality. Here's another one saying, no way, Japan is pushing AI. I counter by saying, no way have localizers embedded themselves so greatly into Japanese media that we have a situation like this where people are cheering this on, and it's actually reasonable why people are cheering this on. I wish this wasn't the case, but unfortunately it is, and these localizers are to blame.
Yeah, like at the same time, like we have to like find like common ground. If we come up with this like at this point, like this is the situation right here where I'll prefer, like, like move on to AI translation than having these quote unquote localizers ruining for everybody just to push their agenda. It is not good, but this is the only options that we got.
Another one saying nobody wants this except greasy neckbeards who don't have a drop of Japanese blood in them, who want to get back at the localizers because they can't get over the literal decade-old Dragon Maid line. I told you, they're still seething about it. That's why I keep showing it. It's not only a great example of these mistranslations, it makes people like this seethe. It makes the localizer defenders lose their minds because they can't actually defend it. Instead, they say, please stop bringing up this example from 10 years ago. Meanwhile,
Never.
in this video alone, I've brought up probably dozens of examples from the past couple of years that are just as bad, if not worse. But they'll ignore all of those and say, the only thing they got is the Dragon Maid line, when in reality...
you know why the Dragon Maid line is brought up so many times? Because it is so iconic. Then, at the same time, like, it is very clear that the localizers are actually like showing their dirty agenda to the entire to the entire international international translation for it, or pretty much like the English translation, because it's very clear, like, who in the right mind who would use patriarchal demands, huh? Like even like the fan translations wouldn't add that to the translations. They would just translate like roughly.
Portfolio of disaster from these localizers is one that grows every single day. There's countless examples, and to say, oh, it's just these greasy losers who don't have any Japanese blood in them who want this. You know what? Maybe the people who aren't Japanese are the ones who are receiving these localizations.
True.
Does that make sense to you? And they want it done correctly. This is not really an own, it's just a complete deflection. But at the end of the day, these localizers, their defenders, any of their ilk, absolutely pathetic, and they're getting exactly what they've been asking for years. They think they're untouchable. Well, guess what? They're not. And this is definitely a great sign towards the beginning of the end for these localizers. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please consider giving the video a like, consider subscribing, and turning on notifications for daily uploads, as well as multiple streams a week live here on YouTube. But overall, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, great video. And at the same time, I kind of feel bad for the fan translations. Their time is almost up, but at the same time, I kind of feel glad that these cancerous localizers would be their pretty much losing their jobs, because it's pretty much deserved. It's pretty much warranted for decades of mistranslating, just changing the entire translation just to fit their agenda, and ruining the dubs, and also and the translation as well. It's kind of for me, as I said before, I don't really like dubs at all, because most of the times they are not faithful to the actual message of the original source, which is Japanese. I prefer having Japanese dub but with subtitles, because it's pretty much close to the actual meaning of it. And with the AI translations, this pretty much where we at right now. It's not perfect. There's gotta be some flaws, guaranteed flaws to be a matter of fact, but this is the only option that we have, instead of just relying on this localizers just keep ruining the translations and whatnot. But yeah, for them, rip Bozo, and especially for their holy shit, I never knew there's actually bootlickers for these quote unquote localizers. Holy, just just taking up the slop, but at the end of the day, they will just join with the complainers that their localizers are out of the job, and like maybe they should get like a job application at McDonald's. Welcome home.